Welcome to Wiretapped Truths. My name is Jesse P. I'm here with Mr. Wiretapped Truths himself, Leland, who had a birthday. Happy belated birthday, my brother.
Thank y'all.
August
We actually,
birthdays.
yeah, and Jack also. Happy belated birthday, Jack. Um, we actually had an episode scheduled for that day that didn't get worked out, but we're working on. So hopefully we'll have a new interview with you guys soon. But yeah, we're gonna have this episode, man. Episode 12. So we're right in the end of The Wire, season 1. If you're not a fan by this episode, this show's not for you. But I haven't met many people who it wasn't for. But season 1 is just a remarkable season, man. And it's funny. I was thinking about it. I think I prefer season 2 over season 1, but I'm in a rare minority there. So I
love
understand.
season two.
So,
It's hard to say, man. They're all good for different reasons, you know.
Yep.
So it's hard to compare like the Sabakas to like the Damon and like the kids, you know, because it's such a different world. Which I think is kind of the point of this show, right? Is all the different worlds
So
of Baltimore, you know.
Yeah. And you know what, too? Like, I was just thinking about it. Like, it's like seasons 1, 2, 3, and 5 are like all kind of connected. It's season 4 that is so different from all of the other seasons. Like, and I think that's why for a lot of people it stands out so much because it's a complete shift, kind of like how season 2 was a complete shift, and that's the genius in season 2. Like when I rewatch season 2, Jesse, every time I'm like, what was I thinking all of those years? This is a masterpiece season. It's a masterpiece of a season.
I really can't believe people have like they think the weakest season is season 2. For me, it's obviously season 5. And there's the number of episodes, sure, but I think there was also something that happened in the writers' room, if I'm not mistaken. I have to research that. But season 2 is one of the strongest seasons for me.
It's the foundation of the rest of the show. The connect between Stringer's moves that essentially lead to his death. Like season 2 is some foundation laying. What's Coven is introducing season 2, like to lead into season 3. Like it was season 2 is phenomenal.
Oh wait, you're right. He is introduced season 2. He becomes a character more in season. Yeah, season 2. I don't know. For me, I love it for a lot of different reasons. It always I don't know. It represents like the American dream. You know, it has that like forgotten blue collar America aspect of it. I just like the whole like world of like these union guys. You know, and it was like interesting how they get involved with the Greek people, and I like the Greeks too. And
covering season 2 is going to be phenomenal for me. Like I really can't wait till we start shooting season 2. I think we're going to give a lot of different perspectives on it for people that really, for whatever reason, don't like it, or maybe were so lost in season 1 that the shift they weren't ready for. But if you're a true Wire fan, you know every season is a different theme. It's almost fitting of how every season goes. There's a change in pace, change in character. So like the dislike for it, I understood it years ago, but then I started like rewatching. I'm like, man, this is a phenomenal season. It's a classic. Just like it's as good as season 1. Like it's. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Don't like season 2 are frauds. I'll say.
And like Jack said, Jesse, when we first started shooting, Jack listed Frank Sabaka as one of his top 3 characters. I don't know if you remember that from our first episode.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, that's. Frank is good. I prefer Nikki, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it in a few weeks. We almost there. I know we both hyped. All 3 of us are hyped for season 2. So we'll be there in a few weeks. All right.
So Jack,
bring us in. Where we at? We're in episode 12.
Episode 12.
Episode 12, called "Cleaning Up," which is what people are doing on both the cops and the criminal aspects of it. This was directed by Clement Virgo, written by George Pelicanos, story by David Simon and Ed Burns. The opening quote is, "This is me right here," said by Wallace. Wallace, such a great character. Can't wait to see what he does in season 2. I think it's I think it's going to be really exciting to see where he goes, so this is me watching this for the first time. Let's see how it goes. No, okay.
Yeah, and I just don't. I mean, he's a great character, but I just don't think this actor is going to do much with his career.
Yeah, he's probably going to fade out. Yeah.
No way he becomes an A-list superstar Hollywood actor, part of
First off, he shares his name with a basketball player. Like that's what kind of actor would do that? You know what I mean?
It's too hard to detect. Yeah.
It's like this actor Derek C. Jeter. It doesn't make any sense, So yeah, the first scene though, we pick up right in the hospital. McNulty's all bummed out, and Daniels comes in. This is one of my favorite Daniels episodes, and just the way he starts off, he's very like he's fucking business. He's all locked in. He's like, when they talk about characters that are like, they're not fucking around, this character means business. He is just like a pro at everything he's doing. He handles himself like a professional at all times, even in crisis. This was his
episode, in my opinion. Like, Daniels was a standout to me. I took some notes on him this episode of stuff that I never caught about him. Like we know, 6,853,000,000 times. I mean, every many times I watched it. But Daniels was so impressive in this episode. Like, he was about business, Jack. That's the right word. He's not fucking around this episode for sure.
It's like they say people reveal who they truly are during times of crisis. I think this is like the thing that exposes who these guys are and how they respond to it. And like, I think Daniels, it just shows the type of person he is. It's like when shit hits the fan, he's the guy you want in charge because he's like, he immediately knows like, we got to get to work. We can't like get too personalized in all of this, even though obviously Kima Greggs is such like a friend to all of them. To Daniels especially, she was like his protege. He had like this almost like this big brother relationship to her.
He brought her in. He brought her in until he took her to the next level.
Right, and he kind of he taught her the ways of policing. And for him, it was such especially a big loss. But he just he zones in. McNulty, he just like he can't handle that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, I can relate to that, honestly, because for certain people, when shit hits the fan, you just collapse, and it shows that like certain emergencies or like when times of crisis can change your whole viewpoint. So this opening scene kind of shows McNulty's changed philosophy on the case. He's like, just like, fuck this. I don't care. What's the point? He's just lost all hope because he's seen like what really happens as a result of these cases.
His energy from the last episode, we mentioned it last episode, when he's drinking in front of Daniels, Daniels is like, man, put that away. That's the same energy that transfers over to the opening scene. Like, he's still in that state of mind, and Daniels has to shake him up. Like, look, I don't really give a fuck that you feel down, but this shit is real right now. Like, my protege is back there. She's breathing through a tube. It's real. So you can either sit there and stay drunk, or you can lock the fuck back in. That was really what he was on. And I have a question too. If McNulty wasn't going to go in to see Kima, what was he doing at the hospital? Was he just sitting?
Well, I think he was just
thinking about it, or
contemplating it.
Yeah, I think he was also just reminiscing. He wanted to be around. It's like it's like when somebody is like hurt, but you want to go there, but you just can't bring yourself to it emotionally because he still feels responsible for it. In a way, even though like he's obviously not, but he just. Like Jesse pointed out, he's like
God forbid something doesn't involve him directly.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, but Daniels put it perfectly. He wallows in self-pity, which is exactly what it is. And McNulty kind of has a moment of like self-actualization where he's just like, this whole thing is just about me and my ego, and I wanted everyone to carry me up on their shoulders and have a big Jimmy McNulty parade. And Dan's like, yeah, we all know that. He's like, this has all been apparent to all of us this entire time. And he's like, I didn't care about this case, but now this is going to go through whether you wanted to or not. Like, whether you care or not, now police have been shot, so they have to go through this case. So it's like, you might as well
Yeah, I love how Jimmy's acting like he's saying breaking news. Like, I'm responsible for all of this.
It's
Like, yeah,
it's not
motherfucker.
fault.
We all know this. We've been saying
it's a revelation to him, but not to anyone else. Daniels realizes like, hey, look, now we actually have to go through with this case. He gives him a little tough love, which is kind of like what you need in that, a little like, come on, like pull yourself together and get through this.
Yep.
That's how it all started. Everyone's still reflecting in the projects. Everything is tightening up. Stringer is taking their cell phone, any cell phones from them. And he shows that there's like a hierarchy going on in the terrace, right? Because it's like now Bodhi's seen as more of like a higher up, and Stringer even tells like Poot, like, the fuck out of here, like this is not for your ears. And like Poot recognizes that, it's like there's not much you can do in that situation, but he
the boss, Stringer the boss. He just as powerful as Avon. What he gonna say? No, Stringer, I'm not leaving. No,
but that's gotta suck. I felt bad for him because it's like it would be like, imagine like you and your friends are like hanging out, and then like the boss tells one of you like, get the fuck out of here. It's like that feeling of like, wow, like inferiority right away. You know what I mean?
Stringer he's imposing like how serious everything is. It's like, look, man, because like Pooh said, how I'm gonna talk to my girl, bro. Your girl does not fucking matter right now. Like our spot just got hit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That shit don't matter right now. Like it was necessary in a way. Stringer is, like he said, we just got hit. We don't have shit right now. Like, so.
Well, Poot acts more like a teenager than Bodhi. He's more, not really. He doesn't treat this with the seriousness that it deserves for the type of business that they're in. Whereas like Bodhi understands, like, this is real adult shit that we're involved in. Like, you can't act like a kid. And, and so like, but also Stringer is just great at like getting between people and causing like this psychological rifts, which is what he does later on with Wallace and Bo. He sees those like seeds of tension, and he's great at like growing that shit between.
I love that scene too with Stringer, like when he's breaking it down to Bodhi, like how they flashed his hands and he's doing this, like it just shows like, okay, yeah, Stringer is locked the fuck in too. It's serious.
Yeah. And so you talk about that later or now, it's up to you. But yeah, so they're getting down to business, everyone's okay. So yeah, let's talk about that now since we're already on the subject, right? So everyone's worried about Wallace, right? Mm-hmm. And then later on in the episode, Wallace comes back. And they're like, what are you doing here? He says, I couldn't make it as a country person. Like, I'm not trying to do all this business out here. And everyone's like happy to see him at first, except D'Angelo.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get to that because that's vital. Yeah, that's a vital. That's a vital breakdown.
So, let's go sequentially, actually.
Yeah.
Chardine is now being used as like
hold up before you go on to hold up Jack, hold that thought. I had a little nugget. The person that's walking with Stringer, the big I think he's got braids, big black guy, he's got braids. He walks with Stringer when Stringer is telling them about what's going on. He's from season 3. Okay. He had a small role when Snoop and Chris came by on the motorcycle and shot at Poot in season 3. The guy with the braids that's right there next to Stringer in that scene is who is supposed to be the muscle. He don't have no words or nothing, but he's in season 3 too.
Oh, wow. Later, you know what I love about that is there's characters that come on later on that you only see in bit pieces. For instance, later on in this episode, when McNulty and Daniels are going up to arrest Avon, one of the SWAT leader is the same guy who went to Savino's apartment in the previous episode. I was like, oh shit, that guy, I love it. It does like a little cameos, you know what I mean?
In there. Another thing too that I wanted to talk to y'all about. When Avon or when D'Angelo is like, hey, we need some re-up. Okay, so yeah, Jack, break down what Stringer is telling them to. This is important about him switching the phones from the no more pagers, no more payphones. Now they're going to the cell phones. I think that's important for anybody.
So they're all switching up because they can't be too careful, right? And Stringer gives them cell phones, and he says, like, you don't call anyone on this phone. If you want to call, like, he gives them 3 sets of numbers on a piece of paper. The top number is for re-up, the other number is for muscle, and then, like, he gives them, like, another number that you can call for Stringer, right? And then he, like, D'Angelo is worried because he's like, we don't got anything. But he says, Stringer's like, well, they took our main stash, so now they're
why the fuck you think we changing up? Yeah. The reason why I wanted you to touch on that, Jack, is just because it's another scene of him just dismissing D'Angelo. Like it's another, like,
oh yeah,
bro, get the fuck out my face. Like,
this whole episode he does that.
Yeah, it's like, look, we just got hit. Why you think we changing up, bro? He even taps him like, get the fuck out my face, like, kind of thing, So it's whenever we do that breakdown of them two, I know it'll be like a 30-minute, 45-minute episode, but whenever we do that little Stringer D'Angelo analysis relationship episode, that's gonna
could have a montage too.
That's gonna be pretty cool because he's dismissing.
Yeah,
like, bro, why the fuck changing up?
Even when he's just like, well, like, he just wants to reiterate. So he's like, so no more payphone. He's like, are you fucking listening to what I'm saying? No more payphone. He's constantly demeaning him. Whereas conversely, his respect for Bodhi is kind of growing, And this is the episode, like we said, we'll touch on later how he tells Bodhi, like, this is the time to step up. But this episode is when their clash, which has been building all season, come like crescendos into a huge argument at the end there. So they're hunkering down because their last stash was taken because of the raid. But meanwhile, they got to get more information. They got to get Avon and Stringer directly involved. So the police decide to use Chardine as a mole and plant a wire on her. And Lester has his own agenda here, which he makes not too subtly a point of, where he's obviously smitten with her. And I just love the acting in this scene because Herc and Cinder keep giving each other this look like this fucking
like
guy.
He about to bag her, like he about to get her, like another little thing I saw too, and I never noticed. When he's putting the eye drops in her eye. That last eye drop does not get in her eye. I don't know if y'all caught that or if it even matters. But, like, I saw that. I was like,
can't you get in trouble with messing with a CI? Well, I guess she's not really a CI. She's...
you know what, y'all?
Yeah, but this was also, like, 2002.
Right.
That shit was much more, like, nowadays things are much different.
This is something that I think, like, I don't think I grasped fully all of these years until I'm rewatching this episode. Like, she's a CI mold for them. Like, he's sending her into danger. Like, I know what she was doing. I've seen the episodes thousands of times. I know that. But, like, I don't think I really properly understood. Like, she's a mold. Y'all are sending her in here, like, as a mold for this.
Well,
shit?
she might not really be a CI because she's not a criminal.
Right. Wait,
she's
criminal informant. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, she's a mole. She's being used as like, But I mean, it's also like, they're not sending her they're sending her up to like a strip club, like, you know what I mean? Like, where they
did send her to the strip club.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like they're not like sending her to like a fucking apartment.
A drug deal.
It's like it's a public place, so they were like outside of that. But yeah, I think also Lester like just lets himself completely get taken over, where I think part of him just is like, well, maybe we could use her for something, and like he's just trying to bang her.
What Lester say? He said focus. He said, I'm clear, she's clear now. He was like, oh, what man wouldn't be focused on you?
Yeah.
It was real perverted, like, kind of thing, like, but
he's smooth,
but he ended up working though. I remember thinking like, oh, my boy Jack, he ain't gonna like this. That's his favorite character is Chardine.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah. He does have that like, what he said. It is smooth, probably, to her. But I was like, stay the fuck away. No. But so they're trying to use her as like a mole to walk in here, and there's a scene later on where Perlman comes in the office and he sees her just walking
around.
Like these cops are still being like chauvinist assholes. You know what I mean? They're still like objectifying her, and like, you know, that's what the thing is. It does show a realistic view of cops in that sense. They're all, you know, they're all kind of like misogynistic in their own way of, you know, of how they, in terms of like how they treat women and everything. But yeah,
and then McNulty walks in too after that.
Yeah, he just, everyone's just ogling her. Yeah, no, so she's gonna be used as a mole. But also at the bar, there's a scene where like Avon and Stringer are talking with Levy about what to do now that everything's taken.
And hold up, quick question I want to ask y'all. When McNulty says, I'm in this motherfucker's head, is he talking about Avon or Stringer? Because he's chasing Stringer. Y'all think Stringer or y'all think Avon? Yeah.
I think Stringer. I think he has like this personal thing with Stringer.
That's why I'm asking.
It's more, it's interesting the relationship he develops with him throughout the seasons, whereas like he treats him like they have this thing, and it starts off from the first scene for episode 1. Like the first thing is it shows their relationship. Damn. They already know each other. We don't really see him interact with Avon this entire time. They haven't seen what he looks like until.
Does he interact with
when they arrest him? When they arrest him the first time,
yeah,
on season 1,
and then when they arrest him again, season 3.
That's it.
They don't see him until the basketball scene. They don't even know what he looks like until that episode.
Right. So it's Stringer. Okay, yeah. I wanted to know. I was like, I think he's referring to Stringer. That's who he's chasing all these years. He's like, I'm in this motherfucker's head. Okay, he's talking about Stringer. Okay.
And one of the great things is that their relationship really extends throughout the seasons until obviously Stringer's death. Whereas like they have this like cat and mouse relationship with each other. It's really interesting how it becomes more than just business. It's like he's just almost like obsessed with him in a way. Yep. Like he's like, I just have to date this one case. You know what I mean?
Gotta get him. I gotta get him.
Yeah, it just, you know, it makes me think of like Catch Me If You Can, where it's just like it just becomes like it becomes more just about the relationship between the two of them. You know,
if Stringer is who we know Stringer to be. Mm-hmm. And who McNulty said he was, which was in season 3, you know, y'all think I'm gonna let this motherfucker beat me again? Why don't we just let him go around the board and collect another 200 million? So if Stringer is, you know, $250 million up, if that's, and like I said, I don't know if that's true. I have to do the math, but if that's the case, this is a powerful individual. Like, you know, you chasing somebody that's got their shit in order all the way around. Like,
well, it's also just frustrating because it's the idea of like life being unfair. Like this piece of shit is able to evade the rules, just break the law and get away with it over and over and over again. And like even at the end of this episode, which we'll discuss, there's a scene like when he arrests him where like he's just like he's so distraught that he can't arrest Stringer, and he just knows he's like, this guy's beating the system.
He's obsessed. He is obsessed. Yeah, that makes the most sense. He's speaking about Stringer,
and it makes sense. I probably would be too, because it's just like this one person constantly beating the thing. You know, eventually it'll just drive you fucking nuts. It's like, what is this guy, invincible or something? So yeah, I think their relationship's more personal. But Avon and Stringer know like they have to like clean up everything.
Jess is going to touch on this scene. I know he is. It's a matter of time. I know he's going.
Well, we've always talked about it, right?
Yeah,
this is the one I've always talked about.
Yeah, he's great here. He's just he's making sure there's no loose ends.
Yep.
And you know what's interesting about this scene? You don't even really notice that he's in the bar until like a minute they're talking, and then like a minute in, Levy.
It shows him,
and the camera shows him. He's like, I didn't even know you were here this whole time. And I think it's just supposed to represent like he's always kind of around the action. You know, he's always there in people's pockets.
And two, when he's breaking it down, when Avon asks, like, you know, when this shit start up, another Stringer D'Angelo moment, he says, probably when your dumbass nephew beat the charge. You know, like it's just another like I'm just the little signs about Stringer and D'Angelo, like just that little, it happened when your dumbass nephew killed Buddy in front of all them people. Like,
he has a strong disdain for him.
For sure.
Well, he's also just like, he's putting the entire responsibility of like all this shit that's been happening to us is all because of D'Angelo.
Your nephew.
That's the implication of like, it's all because of your nephew that we were trying to have this. And, he's clearly just completely fed up with him at this point.
Yeah. And two, when Avon is, when they're breaking down like who's charged with what, and they're like, Bird is locked up, Savino is only 3 years. When he says Bay is about to go too, can y'all explain that to me? Is he saying like, because they haven't arrested him yet? I mean, they don't know. I know they're sending him to Philadelphia, but are they just saying like whenever they find Bay, he's going to jail? Or because they don't know where he's at yet. I mean, they're about to send him out the state. Is that what Stringer was saying? Like Bay about to go to whenever they find him? Or can y'all break down what y'all thought about what that means? Or
I think it's whenever they find him, yeah.
Yeah, they realize like the guy is responsible for shooting a cop. Like they're not going to give up on him.
I guess my question why I'm asking is, I guess they don't know what Kima is going to say if she wakes up. I guess that's why I'm trying to just figure out why Stringer would say that. Okay, yeah, he's about to go. If they don't know if Kima's going to wake up what she said, I guess they're just anticipating whenever. Okay. Yeah. At some point,
they're just cleaning up all their loose ends. You know what I mean? It's a lot like Goodfellas. They're just like, let's kill all the people that could get us in trouble. That's why they go for that security lady.
Right. And you know what? Just sitting here thinking about the last episode, when Avon is talking to Stringer about the money, and it's like, why'd you make this dumbass mistake? Stringer does say if she wakes up, she's gonna put in little man Weebay. Yeah, he does say that in the previous episode. Okay. I was just curious because I know they're about to send him to Philadelphia. And it's like, how do they know that the cops know it's Weebay, I guess, kind of thing. I don't know. I was just curious as to what.
Well, they've already, the cops know it's him, but like, they probably just assume like this guy's, he's probably going away for life once they find him. But they know that like Savino kind of got the best deal out of this whole thing. He's only going away for 3 years. Probably with good time, get out in a year and a half.
What?
For
on accessory to murder, which you were, you definitely were, but I mean,
no, they said he's gonna do every day of the 3.
Of the 3, right.
Oh, right, yeah. Saying, that's a good catch. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you're right, Jesse. Yep, you're right.
You did say that. Still, that's an amazing. He's like the luckiest. He has the best lawyer, able to like bring that down, because he like. Stringer said he's smart. He's able to stick to his story. He's, as long as he says, I have nothing to do with this organization, blah, 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 they can't prove that. So, and same with Weebay, they know is strong. The only person that they didn't think was Little Man.
Which we established that he's now dead.
It makes and the Levy hit makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I was gonna let you get to that, Jesse. Like,
just if you're gonna be number one, I cannot see a lawyer doing that. That's why I asked Jack, like, ask your dad if there's any chance, because and what if the bar was tapped? What if the bar was mic'd up? Then you got Levy. Then you got Levy on like, it just. Not only does it make no sense to me on a lawyer saying it just because now he's crossing a boundary, but just because him being recorded on a wire, now he's going to go to jail. Like,
but people don't play by the rules, man. That's the whole, this guy's a scumbag.
But I'm saying, like, wouldn't he think like, oh, the cops might have this place? The cops actually obviously had a wire to them, right? They wired upstairs. Right. What if they wired the bar instead?
But I think in that moment, though, they weren't even thinking anything was tapped. They weren't even thinking like stuff could be tapped until Avon gets arrested. That's when it's like, wait a minute, how the fuck? What is where? How? They're not even thinking shit is tapped because they own those spots. They own that club. So he's not thinking it's tapped yet. They don't start thinking suspicious until Avon gets arrested. And then it's like, oh shit. Something somewhere is off. They're not even thinking in that moment. But you're right though, Jesse, because it could have been tapped. But they
also Levy never explicitly says, I need you to like kill this person. He just says you need to clean up any loose ends.
But he said they could hurt you. Anybody that could hurt you could be put into place. Like that's
and then he corrects them too, right? When they said, "Oh, she already took the stand," and he said something like, "Oh,
so she could hurt you."
she could hurt. Yeah, so she could hurt you. I mean, if you have that on recording, I'm sure that's enough for a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it. For me, it's like, I don't know. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Of a lawyer
And
actually
30 minutes in, we just want to say, please like, share, subscribe, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the comments, all the love, all the new subscribers. We appreciate you all. All right, what were you saying, Jack?
Because I think that's the point of Levy's character, is that he isn't a typical lawyer. He's not a good guy. He's not like representative of most lawyers. He's just he's like an all-consuming sleazy piece of shit.
I'm the streets lawyer. Like,
right. He's the guy that like you want representing that criminal organization, because he will just like break the law. He doesn't care about morality at all.
He's definitely I can never remember exactly what the word is. A concierge or something like that. It's a word. That's it. I think that's it right there. Yeah, he's definitely that. I know Jesse, he used to watch Power, it's a show. I don't know if you've ever seen Power, Jack, but it's another show, big crime show. They have a lawyer. They have lawyers throughout that show. That you say what?
Proctor.
Exactly. Proctor's from Entourage, Jesse.
Okay.
What's his name in Entourage? Turtle.
Oh, really?
He's in Power. Yeah. And the lawyers in that show are definitely kind of like what Levy does. Like, they're definitely doing dirt. They're definitely doing everything, pretty much everything that Levy is doing to represent an organization.
But Power's a little
definitely that.
Less to reality than The Wire is.
Well, for sure. It's just top tier entertainment. I'm just speaking about from the lawyer standpoint.
But also in Succession, they have like a family lawyer, and that lawyer just tells them like basically how to get away with crimes, and like, some of these lawyers are fucking scumbags. I'm not saying like all of them are, but like some of them absolutely would do shit like that. Especially because Levy has no sense of morality or
possibly.
You mean to tell me? Go ahead. What are you gonna say, Jesse?
Nah, if there's any scumbag lawyers watching this, leave a comment and let us know.
Yeah, please. Yeah, any lawyers that want to come tap in, please. You got to think about it too from Levy's perspective. Like, okay, well, I get paid a ridiculous amount as a attorney, as a normal attorney, probably $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, whatever, whatever lawyers charge. So you mean to tell me that I could get more money by helping my clients already? I know how to clean the money. Yeah, why wouldn't I? Or why shouldn't I? Kind of thing.
Right.
Like it's like, yeah, I can hide the money laundering behind my practice, my law practice. It's really hard to trace these transactions to me unless somebody really takes some time and dives into my account and all of that. They don't really care about lawyers like that. They don't really.
Well, also, Levy is like, he has this sort of disconnect to people in Baltimore where it's like, you talk about like the chess piece. He's the one like, he doesn't give a shit. To him, it's like all these people are just like pieces to move around to help him make a paycheck. Like, he doesn't really care. At the end of the day, all these like, he's gonna be the one to like retire with a fuckload of money. The guy. Sure. Kind of one of the points of that is like, there are like criminals come into various aspects, but the criminals with money, like the politicians at the top, they're the ones that are going to be okay at the end. Whereas like criminals with less money are the ones who end up getting shot. But like the guys
he's almost untouchable kind of thing. Like, kind of thing. It's like, I get to launder money. I get to represent these criminals. I get to get paid under the table. Nobody's really looking into my activity. Nobody's even threatened to even look into the lawyer's activity except for McNulty when he's trying to track down Savino. And even then he was reaching. They weren't about to do that for Levy. They weren't about to go through the stuff that McNulty was talking about and go through his accounts and shit like that. Rhonda just couldn't go against him in that instance, but they don't have no money to do that shit. They don't have no time to go through a lawyer's account, like put a case on a criminal lawyer. They don't have time and money to do that. So, yeah. But
he's got some protection.
Oh, quick! I wanted to ask y'all, why do y'all think they didn't show the little man hit on camera? Is it because he was just a small role and it was just? What are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Julito mentioned that the murders weren't that big. Like the scene with people getting murdered weren't that big. It was more
Is the
just the
relationship.
dialogue, yeah, the implication. Like I don't think it would add anything to the show.
Right. Agreed. No, I agree. I was just curious.
One person wrote a comment, I forget, like some YouTube comment, some video, like one of the clips once, where I thought, like, kind of amazed me was that, like, throughout the first season, you never see a cop fire a gun, which I think I brought it up. The only time you see that is Prez Belusky doing that. You never see any of them, like, draw their weapons or anything like that. Yeah, the murder, you know, and I kind of like how they don't need to. I feel like sometimes shows get too, like, gratuitous with that, you know. That was my problem with Game of Thrones. I was like, all right, you don't need to show every person getting like disemboweled. Like at a certain point, it's like it kind of takes away from the enjoyment, where it just kind of becomes like shock value bullshit, you know.
And like Jesse just said,
yeah,
Jack,
but would there ever be a scene as shocking as the Red Wedding?
That's true. No, that is that, you know, sometimes it definitely adds to it, but the other times I'm like, all right, do we really need to see, like, you know,
the show that we were just talking about, Jack, Power, they never have an off-screen body. So, like, just that comparison, you're right. That's a good, like, comparison to entertainment. We're trying to entertain versus we're trying to give you a sense of a realistic show kind of thing. That's a great way to look at it. Because Power shows every death. Like, they show every single kill. Or if they don't show something on camera, the fans would be like, well, damn, what happened? Why they didn't show it kind of thing. So,
well, I'm not a prude. Like, I don't care about I like watching like violent, gory shit all the time. But like, I don't know, sometimes if it like, depending on the show itself, it comes off as like cheap. And like a show like Game of Thrones, which was like a very serious show, you know, even though it was about fantasy, you know, it took itself very serious. So then it would just have like a 5-minute thing of some dude getting his dick chopped off, and you're like, fucking, I don't need to see this. You know, it almost like it's like pandering to like people that, you know, you know. Oh yeah, like eventually I was like, okay, we could have had like one torture scene. We didn't need 15 torture. That's a whole other fucking. I'm getting off track here. We'll have to save that for our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast. Well, back to Cedric Daniels in his office getting shit from.
I'm fed the fuck up.
Yeah, Burrell has had it through. At this point, he's like, you got to wrap this shit up now, and Cedric's like, well, I have these 30 days. You know, he's kind of talking back to his boss. 90 days, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of like fed up with authority. He's talking back to Burrell in a way that he wouldn't have a few episodes of this because he's like, I'm fucking through with it. He's saying, I'm going to use this 90 day, you know, kind of trying to pull some power moves, right?
Yep.
And Burrell is like, well, okay, I'll take your best people back. You know?
He said, if you want somebody, I'll send them back, motherfucker.
Yeah, and
like,
he gives them.
That's his energy.
He gives them. He's like, you know, Freeman, you could have him. And it's a funny thing where because he doesn't know that like Freeman's a great cop. Same with
Freeman and Prez.
He's like, oh, you could have the, and then like there's a little smile that
from Daniels.
He just
Daniel's facial expressions, y'all. Like if y'all take some time and rewatch this episode again and just study nothing but his facial expressions, you'll be like, damn, he was putting on some acting.
Yeah,
acting like just a cinema, man, because he did smirk when he said that. Like, little do you know, motherfucker, like these two who you leaving me with are, you know, probably the cops you don't want me to have.
And for a second, you kind of think Burrell's gonna have some compassion, like, well, in his mind, compassion, like, who are the fuck ups? Give them back to me. But like, he was like, who are the fuck ups? You keep them, right?
I guess, and I got a question for y'all too, like. Just the energy, like I know why Daniels is fed up because his protege is shot. You know, she's alive, but she might not ever be the same again. You know, we don't really know. We haven't seen Kima do anything at this point.
I would like to see the script of. They had to have at least one script with Kima being dead. That would be pretty cool.
And see how that goes.
Two different. Her alive, yeah, maybe, you know.
Well,
and then,
my question is,
I guarantee you, David Simon has an episode at least, because if they were planning for Kima to die,
yeah, no, for sure. My question is, why is Burrell's attitude towards Daniel kind of snarky in this scene? Like,
I think
I guess I just to go off what you just asked, Jack, about you would think, or Jesse, about him being showing some
Daniel stopped
compassion.
reporting back to him, right? And he talked back to him and stuff. Like they're
Yeah.
not on the same page no more.
But it just seems like with Kima being shot, and it seems like his attitude is just it's snarky. I don't know. I'm not a Burrell fan. I don't really like the character.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think at this point, Burrell's just like, look, I've put money and energy into this case that's been going on for months now, and I haven't really seen that much shit. It's like, it's time for you to wrap this up. Like, I've given you enough time. Let's move on, you know?
I think Burrell's another person who lasts through the entire show that you really don't care for. You know?
No, right. No, I hate, he's one of my, if you maybe do a top 10, hate it. He's on there.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
He has some moments of humanity, though. Like in the last episode, I remember we were talking about that, how he's like kind of consoling Kima's girlfriend in the hospital, and you know, but he's not a good guy. Like he's a very unlikable.
Even that though, Jack, he didn't want to do that. He asked the commissioner to do it. Like if he was really, if he really stood on solid principles, he'd have did it without asking the commissioner. I don't like Burrell. I think he's stupid.
Let me ask you this:
God forbid we have to interview him and he sees his clip, but I think he's an idiot. And even going to Amsterdam when Coven like pretty much tells them what Amsterdam is, Burrell still don't know what the fuck is going on. It's Ross who catches it and then has to say, "Oh shit, you legalized drugs." Like you the fucking commissioner. You should. I don't know. I don't like his character. I don't like Burrell. I don't like him in no scenes. I don't like him.
Don't you see what he did, you idiot? He legalized drugs. Right. He doesn't say it to Burrell. He says it to somebody. Yeah.
He says it to he said it to Burrell, but it was fitting to go to Burrell, kind of thing. Because he didn't know what the fuck was going on either until Ross said it. I don't like Burrell.
Burrell's kind of a moron. And I think Carcetti picks up on that he's a kind of a hack cop.
For sure. For sure.
He realizes, like, look, if I'm in the mayor, like, he's gone. I don't want
their interactions and relationships. That is something I'm hyped, even though I don't like Burrell. I am hyped.
Carcetti and Burrell.
Carcetti and Burrell. I can't wait to get into their.
Yeah, Carcetti used them pretty good. Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be phenomenal when we start breaking down season.
Yeah, Burrell sucks though in this episode, and he shows his uselessness because later on in the episode, when Clay Davis is basically yelling at Burrell in front of Daniels and kind of berating it, kind of undermining his authority as a deputy commissioner.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that scene because I took that note too, Jay. Like I really want to touch on that when we get to that. Like that's I got some questions about that for sure.
I think from Burrell's point of view, he's just like, look, it's time to wrap it up. Like cases aren't
time. Yeah, they're spending money. Does he know at that point that Daniels and them are like knee deep into the political stuff, like with the campaigns and stuff? I don't think he knows that yet because he asked him later in the episode. Yeah, he don't know that yet.
That comes back after like that scene with Perlman, and that after he finds out about that they're looking to like campaign finance reports. But like at this point, he's done with them. I think it's funny how he calls Presbeluski's like Valchek's brain dead son-in-law.
Yeah. And two, the guy whose name we can never think of, we just want to call him Lieutenant Mustache. I don't know his name, buddy. That's behind them. When he says he asked you a question, Lieutenant. Well, he didn't really ask him a question. Right. Like he didn't tell him, who do you want to send back, Daniels? He said if you have a choice, please give me, your opinion on who you'd like to send back if it was up to you. But that's not a question. I thought that was I caught that. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Well,
he asked him a question.
He's a worm, that guy. And they're just trying to. They have this like power relationship that they're trying to put on them. But their relationship is pretty fractured at this point. And sure. the next scene I want to talk about because I love. I actually gained sympathy for Perlman. I know I've talked badly about her in the past, but. That last scene, the last episode, when she's having a conversation with what's her McNulty, right? McNulty kind of calls her out like that. Like she's hurt because like it's clear that he doesn't respect her, You know what I mean? He doesn't respect what she does.
Yeah.
And like she's genuinely hurt because
he just looks at her like a attorney that wants to climb the ladder.
Right, asleep, and it's like he kind of made that apparent, and she wanted, I think she thought there was actually some real thing between them.
Yeah.
And like it's like you feel sympathy for her because she's involved with this case. They're not really telling her what's going on, that they're pulling these campaign finance reports, and she's going to like this
she's going to
her boss and all these politicians are this one politician was like, I got all this money in random anonymous fundraisers, but I'm fucking giving it back, right?
That's the state attorney. That's who Bond replaces in season 4. And 45 minutes in, we just want to say, please like, share, subscribe, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the love. Please comment. Thank you so much. I got a question for y'all. So I know both of y'all have done like been extras and stuff on scenes and TV shows. So y'all have been in the acting world. How do these directors and stuff? I never thought about this question. How do these directors and stuff? How do they decide how they name characters in TVs and stuff like that? The only reason I'm asking that, when Perlman goes in and the state's attorney, he's like, Sheila, send him in. I was like, well, who the fuck is Sheila? Like, why is her name Sheila? I don't know why that stuck out to my head, but do y'all know like how they come about?
Screenwriter.
Yeah, how they come about?
It's the screen. Well, yeah, the screenwriter, and I'm sure names like that. Well, from listening to the Boy Meets World podcast, a lot of times they'll throw in somebody like from their family or friends and stuff, so they could get a shout out. You know,
and shows do that too. They'll have like names of the characters that are like, a lot of times it's like crew members, right, or somebody that worked.
Yeah.
On Family Guy, for instance, there's Neil Goldman, right? That's like one of the producers on the show. So it's like they like to recycle like actual names or whatever.
I was just curious. I don't know why him calling Sheila. I was like, well, who the fuck is Sheila? And why did y'all pick the name her Sheila? Like, I don't know why that just popped in my head when I was watching it.
It also sometimes is like it's a lot of different things, right? Because the writer send it to but then the directors or the producers might make like a slight change here. They'll tell the actors. Sometimes the actors come up with stuff on their own that they feel it seems right. And then the directors, if they like it, they'll be like, all right, let's say that this time. You know what I mean? So I think it's like it's a never ending, like, a script, it goes through several different drafts too, and then there's all these notes, and it's all a constantly changing thing until like the final product, and then even in the editing it gets changed. You know what I mean?
Okay, good insight. I figured y'all would know. That's why I was like, let me just ask this random question. It's probably a question for like one of our random episodes we'll be shooting, but I was just curious.
Yeah. Some of the stuff you could tell is improvised by the actors. Like there are certain scenes where the actors will do stuff that I'm like, I wonder if that was just like not in the script,
And two, when she's talking to the guy that comes in as his assistant, Mr. Patrick, I think his name is. We never see him again. He's like a political enforcer, clearly. Like you can tell, like his whole demeanor. He don't smile at Perlman. He's like it's all business. Like, hey, look, get your nose out of our business. We're giving you this money back. Keep your nose out of our business. And it made me think about, because Jesse mentioned I'm rewatching our episodes. On our first episode, how The Wire, the first episode is one of the greatest opening episodes to a show, opening scenes. Have you all ever seen House of Cards?
What? No. Seen what?
House of Cards on Netflix?
No. I think I watched the first season. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only reason I ask is because that first episode of House of Cards, one of the greatest episodes to open a show like of anything. And it just made me think about when I was looking at Patrick, the guy that's the state attorney's, I guess, political muscle. It made me think about House of Cards. That's what
was
made
he
me
on that show?
No, he wasn't. But that show is full of like political strong arming and stuff like that. His demeanor with Perlman made me think about House of Cards, because it's a lot of like they're second in charge doing dirty work in House of Cards. And it just made me, I got that energy from him. Like if the state's attorney was like, hey, look, go do some dirt, it would be Patrick, the guy, who was telling Perlman, like, this should make it clear that our hands are clean. Like, get the fuck out of our business. keep your nose out of our shit, like kind of thing.
Yeah, no, he has like an intimidating presence there. He's kind of pushing Perlman, you know, and she's kind of cowering from what they're telling him. And it's like she's kind of like because of the police work now, she's isolated in her own business, right? People don't trust her. They think she's a snake. She's looking at all these campaign finance reports. So the work that they're doing is like affecting her standing in her job, you know.
Right.
All these politicians aren't going to trust them. Her, you know, they're like, oh, we're clean, like don't, you know. And like, so I definitely gained sympathy for Perlman here because I feel like the cops kind of did her dirty by like not keeping her properly informed, you know. And they did that because they know that she would object to it too. So they have their own selfish motivations at times, you know. But yeah. So the next the scene is when we find out that Avon and Stringer are going to do trying to do the hit on Wallace, right? They call D'Angelo in there, and like they just ask, like, what do you know about Wallace? You know, and he instantly knows what they're getting at without them having to say that.
I love D'Angelo this scene. I love Larry Gillard this whole episode.
Yeah, he's like heartbroken because he knows exactly what they're planning on, and he's like his protective instincts as like a brotherly figure to Wallace really kick in here. You know, I think this is the turn in his arc as a character where he hates his own family and he views them as like the villains, you know.
Well, this is the first time I think that he actually stepped up to his uncle in some sort of way too. He's like, just let the boy be, you know.
He straight up refused an order, you know.
Yeah, he refused it. Yeah, everyone's like, you know, the man asked you a simple question. He said, "Look, I don't mean you no harm.
Right.
No, I don't, but just let the boy be." You know, it's like just such a heartbreaking scene.
But you notice also how.
Go ahead, Jack.
You notice how like Stringer is also just lurking. The way they're positioned in this scene was great too. He's always like he's lurking over him, you know. And I mean, it's like he represents that shadowy force of like I'm gonna fuck your whole world up, you know. And
so I got a question. I know they end up killing Wallace. Obviously, we know that, but they don't know exactly what happened. So I mean, is this like? Okay, we're gonna kill him off of just because we paid him. He could be a loose end, but they don't know if he, you know, it's we killing this 16-year-old off of because we paid him, kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's kind of like they don't know if he told for sure. Nobody knows. Like,
I think that he came back is
but they know that he went through a downward spiral, right?
But not at that exact point. That's before he talks to Bodie in the car. I'm talking about strictly that moment with Avon and Stringer and D'Angelo. Like, this is before he talks to Bodie.
Yeah, I don't.
And gives his opinion about Wallace.
Maybe because he left and came back. Yeah, I obviously think that he's a loose end somehow.
Right. I think it's less about knowing whether or not he is, and just like the potential, like he says, like any potential loose ends, just
because they paid him.
Even take a chance, right? Just
not because they paid him, because then they would have killed Poot too. I think it's because he left.
Well, but you know what though? I'm glad you said that, Jesse. They don't pay Poot for the murder on Brandon. He doesn't get any money for that.
No, it's Wallace. Do. They give to Poot and Wallace.
Well, they only give it to Wallace. They said Wallace. It's Wallace, Bird, Bay. It's like 2,000 split up between 4 people, and Poot is one of them.
Who's the 4?
How did he break it down? It's Bird. What did he say? It's Bird and Weebay for doing the hit.
Wallace and Poot.
I don't remember him saying Poot though when Avon was breaking it down, because they give the money to it's Wallace that makes the call. They're looking at it like Wallace is the one that called D'Angelo, not Poot. And then when Stringer pulls up, he's like, "What's your name, kid?" He's like, "It's Wallace." He doesn't say it's me and Poot. Like it's
yeah,
Wallace.
But
I had to rewatch that. I'm not sure because I don't think it was Poot. I don't think it was Poot.
I don't think it's because he got paid money though. I don't know. That doesn't make somebody a loose end. I think it's because he went missing, and then he came back.
But they didn't know that at that point. When I'm talking before, this is before he talks to Bodie. When they're in that office, when D'Angelo is standing up to them, they don't know really shit about Wallace. They just know that they paid him for the lookout, and they want to talk to him, but they haven't talked to Bodie yet at that point. Like he don't know where he's been at. They don't have no type of what's going on in that moment.
When Stringer talks to Bodie in the car, doesn't Stringer bring it up? Didn't he say, I heard that he went crazy when we dimed on when
Oh yeah.
So Stringer did hear that.
I heard they don't know that he returned, they know that he left.
No, but he also said, I heard that
I heard he almost went to bed when he heard what happened to Omar's bitch.
Yeah,
you're right.
See, what I think happens is, like, if he just stayed out on the coast, they would have just been like, fuck it, whatever. Like, It's the fact that he comes back that they're like, why is he back now?
And
he's not back at that point though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in that moment, he's not back yet. So
it's
what
not
are
that
they?
He's back. It's that he was scared about. You're right. He's not back yet. He was scared about. He heard that he wet the bed when he heard about Omar's bitch. Right. So he's like.
So Stringer knew. Yeah, he knew.
They're just trying to check up on it. It's not like, they know exactly. They're just inquiring, like, what's the deal with this?
Yeah,
kid?
like, why is he so nervous?
Yeah, we heard he's going crazy. And they know that he's gone. I think they just want to find out from D'Angelo, like, hey, this kid's. They want to find out the status. I think they know, like, this kid went crazy, but, like, I think it's like, so they're just trying to check up on seeing what's the deal with that. And I think the thing is, what convinces Stringer to pull the hit on is when he returns, because he said, I think if he just stayed out there, they would have been like, whatever, he's not going to do it. I mean, he's just some dumb kid. But, like, I think it's the fact that he returns that makes them think, okay, this guy is an informant or something.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because he hadn't been back yet. I didn't know, like, in that moment when they're like, we just want to talk to him. Are they saying, well, yeah, we're gonna kill him as soon as we see him? I guess that's what I was asking y'all, like, trying to figure out, because they don't know, they don't talk about it in terms of what they know about Wallace yet. But like you said, Jesse, yeah, he does say to Bodie, I heard he was upset. Yeah, so okay, that makes sense. Where we at, Jack?
We're still got a lot of show left, my friend. But yeah, so I think that they're just trying to figure out what the deal is with him. They're planning on, like, deciding. I think they're deciding at that point whether to kill him, and it's a strong moment between D'Angelo and Avon, because D'Angelo is almost like begging him.
Yeah, he is begging him.
Yeah, it's a real, like, human, and you could see Avon recognizes that D'Angelo is hurt by this. There's, like, a real human moment between them.
He's like, what's it to you?
Yeah.
What difference? What the fuck difference does it make that we want to talk to him? Go find him. What does it matter to you? Stringer's asking you about this kid. Go. Right. Why does it matter to you? Kind of thing. And when D'Angelo leaves too, when he leaves that office after that moment, you can tell he was like, I can't believe I just stood up to my uncle and Stringer.
Yeah.
He can't even walk for a second. He has to, like, he's like, damn, that's intense. And he don't even know the Chardine there. He's so fucked up in the head after what happened. He don't even see her to the left, kind of thing. But yeah, his relationship with Wallace is why he's a revered character. I know some people have a dislike for D'Angelo kind of thing, but his relationship with Wallace and how he acted and just representing Wallace and trying to protect Wallace is why people love his character, for sure.
I don't say how you could dislike D'Angelo as a character. To me, he's one of the most relatable characters on the show, constantly conflicted between these two worlds and trying to figure out his own path. And, I don't get it.
Because people don't want to be realistic and say they relate to D'Angelo. They want to think that they Avon Barksdale.
Right, exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is right there. Oh, you go against Avon, you got it. That's why people be like, hey, Wallace, well, you did talk to the cops, or 16 or 15 or whatever, where you talk to the cops, you got to die. It's like
people want to think they're tough, but you're not, dude. You're not.
It's like it's like Game of Thrones. Who wants to admit to being Sam, right?
Yeah, like Julito pointed that out to us in our in that interview. Julito pointed that out to us. Really made me think about that differently.
Yeah, no, it's a toxic. I don't want to say like toxic masculinity or whatever because it's such a buzzword, but it is like a. It's weird how people,
but it is that it is
no facts.
People want to relate to, I'm the fucking tough guy, blah blah blah. But it's like even people like that, they have a sensitive core. That's one of the things about Avon is that he is a human being. One of the best scenes too, and I know like this is way out, but like in season 4, when I would say when Weebay's talking to Naaman's mom, right?
Mhm.
For her name, but she's saying like. She's like, well, you know, he can grow up to do anything he wants to be. And then she says, like, except be a soldier. And he says, like, well, look at me. Like, who would want to be this? And it kind of pulls the curtain back. And it's like, look, even if you think you're just going to wind up in jail, this life sucks. And it's something that made me really appreciate Weebay's character is he like kind of has a shift of like, what did this get me in the end? You know,
I told y'all a few weeks ago, like it's one of the few things that I wish that I know there's probably, in terms of how the story went, there probably weren't many more scenes that Weebay could have been in to add value to the story. I just love his character, you know. And an hour in, we want to say, please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the love, all the support. All right, Jack, where we at?
So yeah, Wallace comes back. And Poot and Bodhi are all happy to see him. You know, the only one who's kind of hesitant about it is D'Angelo. D'Angelo's has that look on his face of like, oh fuck, why are you back? You know, he says, all right, let's go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And
why
he says, like,
why would Wallace think he could come back though? Like, why would he think that it would just be okay after talking to the cops? That's a question.
Because he's a 15-year-old boy who only knows West.
Right. Yeah. You know, and it's also, this is his world, man. It's like, that's all he even explained. He's like, well, this is all you know, it's like, yeah, at 15, like leaving all your friends and everyone that you ever knew and just being like, you know, live on some fucking house, you know, and even though like they looked, I remember that one scene when Daniels takes him, I was like, that's kind of a nice looking beach house.
Oh yeah, it's a nice house out there in the country.
I think that'd be funny if there's a alternate version where like Wallace lives and like they go to visit him on the beach like every they just spend a day there. But yeah, you know, he's a confused kid. He just wants to return to where he is. And D'Angelo has that great conversation where he's like, look, you can't come back because they think that you're a rat and they're trying to kill you. Like you can't do this.
You can't really say that. But
trying to speak like you gotta, you know,
he alludes to it. And Bodhi telling Wallace too, when Wallace, you know, asks, "Can I get put back on the money?" It really humanizes Bodhi because it makes you like how he's talking. He's like, you know, a real man would stand by his people. You know, he wouldn't run at the first sight of some blood. This man is 16 in the show. He's supposed to be 16. Like it just shows like how mature they wanted to make him because he's supposed to be 16. Like it's just that little scene right there made me look at Bodhi like, damn, he's talking like a grown ass man. You're like,
yeah,
you know, real man resents that. People, you know.
That's the idea, and we talk about, you know, toxic masculinity or whatever word you want to call it, right? But it is a theme throughout this episode because Bodhi's constantly like, gotta step up, you gotta be a man. He even says later on they're in a restaurant and Wallace is reminiscing, oh yeah, like my mom used to take me here. He's like, stop talking about your mom. He's like, you're being all soft. He's like, you gotta be and he's like, you know, you can't be hard all the time.
Yeah, I liked Wallace's response actually. Why you gotta be hard all the time for?
Right. Yeah. Can't we just eat some cheeseburgers?
Right. And why didn't the cops, everywhere they was looking for Wallace, this is probably a question for later in the episode, but why didn't they go down to the pit to try to look for Wallace? They looked everywhere. They had cops out on the vacants. Like, why didn't
I don't know. Maybe they thought he wouldn't be dumb enough to return to the pit.
Right. Or I think also, they thought like, this kid, like, there's no way he wants to return because he just talked to them. He's like, he's terrified. You know, people are conflicted, which is like, that's kind of one of the great things I like about this is that like, it just kind of shows that they're always, a lot of times they make irrational choices.
And they would have known to check the pit if they listened to the call, but Presbo marked it as non-prevalent.
Right.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that's the answer to my question is right there, Jesse. They didn't have the call right there to know that he was coming back to Baltimore. They just know he's out of pocket because he's not at his grandmother's house, but they don't know that he's coming back to. Damn, that's the answer to my question is right there. Damn, because Prez marked it non-pertinent. Damn, so they don't know he's coming back to Baltimore. Exactly. Like, damn, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because if they had that, they would know that he's been in communication with Poop, and they probably would have went to the pit. Damn, good shit, Jesse. Okay, then, good shit, then. Okay, where we at on the scene?
This is where we're at, where we are introduced though to D'Angelo's mom. Oh, before we get to that, there is a great shot I wanted to discuss before that, where it's like they're talking to Wallace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they look over at like these little kids playing, and although wait, no, this happens later on in the episode, but I wanted to discuss it because it's a great shot where like Poot notices all these kids playing, and it's like, I think at that point they're like thinking about like, this is what we used to be, you know, we used to just be kids playing without a care in the world, and now because of this fucking drug business, we all hardened and it's divided us against each other, and it's going to cause me to kill my best friend. It's, you know, it really kind of shows the damage of that, especially the last shot too. Where it's just the couch by itself without anyone there.
That's really I like that.
I'm actually gonna make a prediction. When we talked, when you make a clip of the shorts, and when we talk about Wallace being killed, I think that's gonna get the most views.
Probably will. Yeah, no, it probably will. And it just phenomenal casting too. I was looking at this and I never caught this. How much D'Angelo and his mom look alike. Like she comes to bring him that food. They got the same thing. They got the same gap. Like I mean, I was looking at them. I was like, damn, she definitely looks like his mom. Like
they favor each other. So it was cool to we meet Brianna, right?
And you don't really pick up, like, it's funny when Wallace. Sorry, go ahead.
Wallace was like, "Is that your girl?" He's like, "This is my mom." He's like,
"And what are spicy fish cakes? What is that?"
Well, that. I wonder if that's a real place. I'm gonna Google that.
I'm sure it is. I haven't looked it up.
Very specific or Baltimore thing, right? That they're talking about spicy fish. Like it's like a very, you know, to the place specific. But yeah, kind of a sweet moment because you don't really see D'Angelo's mom. You didn't even really know she was like a presence in his life until the scene. And it just shows like at the end of the day, he's still a young kid, you know, and it's like he's only about like 18 years old. His mom's still dropping him off lunch, you know. It shows like the innocence of these people, even though they have like such like serious responsibilities. They're still like kids, you know.
So they actually bring up something here that's referred to a few times throughout the series too. When Wallace is like, when he's like, you know, over in the East, and he's like, "Yo, if it's not on the West Side, I don't know it because this is me, yo."
This is me,
right?
yo.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like so many people don't like when Old Face Andre's running from Marlo. Like Prop Joe's like, why does every Baltimore, you know, guy think that running over to the East Side is running away from home? It's kind of like, you know, it's Baltimore.
All I know is West Baltimore.
All I know is West Baltimore becomes like a pretty kind of a model of the show, right? You know, all they know is West Baltimore. A lot of the guys. But
well, it's like in the last scene when
D fucked up here though, because D should have been like, "Look, bro, you're going to be killed if you're here.
Why you put him back on the money? Like why even allow him to even?"
Because he tried to like tell him subtly, and then he like kind of. I think D thinks that he has more clout than he does, because he's kind of like, "Oh wow, all right, you know, this is him. I'm going to give him a second chance." Meanwhile, you just begged String and Avon to let him live, like,
and told him he's out the game. Wow.
So D kind of fucked up here. He got to tell him, "No, I'm getting you a bus ticket. You're going back to your grandma.
Your ass going to school."
No.
Yeah. You know, shit. And did we touch? I took this little funny scene. Did we touch on when Daniels is talking to the detail and he's like he wants to protect Chardine? Did we talk about that already? Or is that our next?
No, we didn't talk about it.
You know what I'm talking about, Jack?
Wait, Daniels talks to who?
They're trying to find Wallace, and then he's like, he said, "What about your stripper?"
Oh, yeah. He's like, "Oh, she can stay at my place."
Yeah. And then he's like, "Protect and serve, Lieutenant. Protect and serve." You know? I just wanted to talk about that little funny scene right there. I love that little scene right there.
Yeah. He's got in for at that point. Well, yeah, because they completely forgot about it, and it just shows the chaos of it all, right? All these actions have kind of like a butterfly effect on each other.
Yep.
Because if Kima hadn't been shot, they wouldn't have forgotten about Wallace, and that wouldn't have led to him getting killed. It's all this stuff. It's everything connects to each other, right? All these actions that are taken, all these mistakes, they build upon each other, you know.
But at the same time, too, though, if Kima didn't get shot, Wallace still would have left. Like they wouldn't have been able to keep him there for 6 months, you know, until the trial started or whatever. Like he wouldn't have stayed stable. Like that's not they don't.
Well, that wasn't their plan though. They were planning was to have him like stay for a few days.
And then what though? Because they said they didn't have no money for no hotel to put him in. So like, what was the plan?
Well,
if Kima never got shot.
Here, so their plan was to just have him stay for like a few days, and then pick him up. And I don't know, actually. I guess
because they said they couldn't stash him. Perlman said, you know, we can't stash a juvenile for 6 months in a hotel waiting for a trial. Who the fuck gonna pay for it?
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, so the grand jury was supposed to be on Monday though, right? So their plan was. So yeah, that's right. I have that note. Yeah, because their plan was they were just gonna have him stay for the weekend and then bring him back for the grand jury testimony on Monday.
You're right.
And then Daniel
said that,
I'll have him on. He even said like I'll put him on my couch and
if I need to. Yep, you're right.
They obviously have enough room. We've seen his nice ass house earlier on in the season. And I think they were like hinting at like I said before, they had that possibility of like, you know, Daniel's adopting Wallace and all that because he says, yeah, I'll have him on our couch. But because of all the chaos with Kima, they just, you know, it completely slipped their mind. And so Daniels calls one of the cops down there to investigate. They find out that he's not there, which leads them to search for Wallace later on, right? But let's talk about that scene because it's the next scene. But also, it's a great scene when Daniels meets Clay Davis for the first time, and what's his face? Burrell's like, "Hey, nice hat." He's like, "Hey, Clay, like, you know, this is Daniels. He wants to assure you he's not involved with anything illegal." And Daniels says, "All right, good," you know, and you can tell that like. Daniels isn't buying it at this point, though.
No. And he said, I never caught this too. He says, Clay Davis wanted to know if he could help, and then Daniel says, "Help? What do you?"
Right.
Like, I never heard that word "help" from Daniels all of these years. I never heard that, but he's like, "Help? Help what? What the fuck?"
Well, he's playing mind games. He's just being as like obtuse as possible about everything that they're saying because he's trying to get Clay Davis to out. You know, Davis is speaking in all these euphemisms. So he's trying to get him to basically be upfront about what he's trying to say. And then finally he gets pissed off and he basically says like, I don't care where all the drugs come from, you know? Yeah. And I even like it where he's like, "Oh, you think like one of our aides is involved with this shit?" And like, he says, "Look, all I know is that we have probable cause and when we pulled them over, we found all this money. That's all I'm saying."
That's all I'm saying.
Like
Clay Davis, y'all mentioned it earlier. Clay was talking so crazy to Daniels in this scene. Like he called him a motherfucker. He called him a fool. Like he was talking crazy. Yeah. And then Daniels was like, after he said, "This is all I'm saying," and then Clay Davis snaps. Daniel says, "Well, hold on, Burrell. Actually, it's pretty basic." You know, he was like, it was stern. I wish he would have said, "Well, actually, it's pretty basic, bitch." Like, I wish he would have like gave him some of that shit back that he was giving him because Clay was talking crazy to him. Like, what are you talking about? And like you said, Jack, he was trying to talk around Daniels. Like Daniel, like I'm watching this wire. I'm watching what's going on. I know what's going on. He didn't have that money on him, my guy. Like you're just lying. Like, you know, like that's not money he had on him before. You're telling a lie. Like I'm sitting here watching this off of my wire. You know, like I know what the fuck is going on. What are you talking about? Like, kind of.
Well, I think Clay Davis, like Levy, as a rich politician, he thinks, or like, I can just get away with anything, and I
Oh,
can.
for sure.
I own we own the police. They work for us essentially.
Yep.
So he's like, fuck, like these, you don't get to tell me you're just a cop. Fuck you. And he has no respect for that. But Daniel he has no respect for Davis, and he's losing respect for Burrell.
Yep.
So
He
it's
like
just
fuck both of y'all.
yeah. And he just straight up kind of was insubordinate to Burrell and just walks out.
Yep.
At that point, like, it was one of the best scenes ever because he just with Daniel's character, because he kind of shows like he stands up for himself. And
that scene with Clay is what I was talking about with the facial expressions. Like, it's that scene specifically that when I was watching him, I was like, damn, he's really like, his face is really reacting to what he's saying. Like, it was brilliant. Like, it was brilliant.
He doesn't budge under pressure. You know what I mean? He doesn't fold. He's just like, fuck you. If the Emmys had any like legitimacy, Lance Reddick would have gotten one for this episode.
Yeah. I just wish he would. I wish he would have snapped. I wish he would have said, who you calling fool? Ugly ass fuck boy. I wish he'd have said something like that and just gave it back to him. I don't know. Like, he was talking to him crazy. Like,
he's so composed. That's kind of his whole. He's so like.
Yeah, he was. It would have been out of character for him to snap back.
But
like that.
You want that. You want that extra like fuck you.
I wish he'd have gave it to him. Like, who the fuck you calling for, bitch ass boy, or something like that. I wish he'd have just given him some of that same energy, because Clay Davis was talking crazy. He was talking crazy to him.
Well, also when he walks up, he has this like strut. You ever notice that with Daniel's character? He always has that like strut when he walks.
He got
out.
posture. He has strong posture.
Yeah, he stands up straight. He doesn't,
And you're like, and Clay says to a foot post. So low, he say out in Philadelphia, and as we know, Weebay goes to Philadelphia. Just connecting dots there. We said you need to put him somewhere way fuck out near Philadelphia or some shit like that.
Yeah. If you're a guy though, like worried about how you stand and walk, just watch clips of like Daniel's walking, because I feel like it's a great thing to teach, just about like correct body posture. And Clay even threatens Burrell, like he's like, you need to put this guy out there right now
because you're fucking with our money,
right? And it's all it comes down to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Herc also became a sergeant, and it just shows like how fucked up these exams. Herc should never be a sergeant, right? He's
well, he didn't become a sergeant.
Sergeant, soon to be sergeant.
Sergeant Pat, yeah. But I'm saying it just shows how fucked up this whole.
He never becomes a sergeant
until season 4. Season 4, when he catches the mayor, gets his head office, Then
they call him Sergeant Hulk. Yeah. But it shows how fucked up this whole thing is, that he's able to do that in the first place.
Yeah. What is 18? Is that the ranking of the officers that are chosen? What is he talking about when he's saying 18?
18 on the list. So when you take those tests, that you're like whatever number, like if it's like 300 people, he ranked. Okay. Like Herc did really good on the test, basically.
It's like at least somebody's doing well. We forget that these guys, like with everything going on, it's like these guys still have their own lives, and they know that even after this case ends, they're still gonna. Like, this case isn't the finality of the show. It shows like even after this whole thing is done, they're all gonna have careers. Herc is still thinking about what his next move is, and same with Carver. And it's funny that scene where Herc's basically like, I'm gonna make Carver call me Sergeant Herc, as friends just want to bust each other's balls like that. But okay, so you mentioned the scene earlier with Bodie and Stringer, right? And Stringer is like very menacing and like predatory towards him. He's got this like icy expression on his face in the car where he's basically telling him, he's like, he starts off innocent, he's like, what's going on with this boy,
Mm-hmm.
And like he's very subtle. He's like, all right, well, are you about this, because he tells him like he's not made for this shit, And Bodie now trusts him. He feels like special because they chose him. He's like, wow, this is my chance to step up.
Is that scene only when Stringer calls the hit, or is that Is that the call of the hit? Because I don't hear him say, "Hey, go kill Wallace."
Well, he goes, you ready? And then
yeah, Bodie does. I know that. I was
very
just
implied. You know what I mean? They never straight up outright say like, "I need you to kill him," but they say it without.
It just shows you how smart Stringer is, right?
Because he's still not talking crazy in no car.
Yeah, Stringer never literally says like, "I need you to do that." It's all like implied, or they use like euphemisms. You know, he's very subtle about the way he goes about his business, and like he now realizes, now I have Bodhi in my pocket. He planted a seed between them. He's, Stringer's the one like playing the chessboard in a way. But yeah, it's very sad because now you see like Bodhi's going to kill Wallace. And they can't find him, and
they're looking for him.
Everything's
and
fucked
then
up.
Doesn't it flash to Poot and Wallace in the house with the kids?
And I love that scene too because it's all dark. What's that?
Isn't that the next scene? They're looking for Wallace, and then it shows Poot and Wallace with the Chinese food.
Well, Poot's basically like, hey. He sees Wallace with all these kids, and they're all eating food that he's given to them, and they're in that like very dimly lit abandoned house, right? The lighting is great; it's all dark and everything. But like you see, Poots realizing it's like, I can't do this. This is crazy. This is my friend.
But I don't think at that point that they know that him and Bodhi haven't had the conversation. So that scene is the last true moment of Poot and Wallace being lifelong friends. Right. Bodhi and Poot haven't had the conversation yet.
Yeah.
That they have. Yeah. So
but,
my question
Poot's
is
more hesitant about it.
Yeah. Where is that? If the cops go to the house where they were pirating the juice at, and then Wallace isn't there, what house are they in when they're eating the Chinese food? Like whose house is that? Because don't Poot and Wallace live together?
I was wondering that too. I think they're at because McNulty and Daniels go to like that house. Yeah, they check that house and then they're not there. It might be like an unconnected house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe because it's vacant. I mean,
yeah, I don't really know, to be honest.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
But,
and then what's our next scene, Jack?
Oh yeah. Well. Yeah, the next scene is basically Perlman telling Daniels like, "Hey, I really wish you guys didn't keep me in the dark." But he tells him like, "Hey, but also this politician's giving back campaign donations. Like, what's up with that? Here you go." So they kind of extends that, right, the investigation to these politicians. But yeah, Poot is more like hesitant about killing Wallace, and let's talk about that scene, right? Well, first, before we go there, McNulty and Daniels go by his mom's house, and they say, like, "We're looking for your son." The mom doesn't give a shit about Wallace.
I think is that not later? Is that the next scene?
Well, it's all right. We'll talk. It's all connected.
Okay.
They're just basically checking up on her. And like it kind of shows they're like disgusted with her when they go to visit her because they think like, hey, it's your own son. Like we're very concerned about him. Do you know where? And she just doesn't care.
She all. Like where? She's so drunk. She like where a who?
Right.
Like, who? What are you talking about? Where about? Where a who?
And they even say like, oh, she's gonna be in trouble. He's like, yeah, he's gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna smack him when he comes back.
Bring my fucking $10 back. Shit.
When they both leave that scene, though, they're just like, ugh, fucking, you disgust me, right? So, yeah, let's talk about the scene where Wallace gets shot, right? Wallace goes upstairs. He thinks he's playing like hide and seek with the kids. And
brought tears to my eyes when Poot and Bodhi killed Wallace.
Yeah.
What's that?
Brought tears to my eyes when Poot and Bodhi killed Wallace.
It's heartbreaking. First, the first really sad thing is when they're on the staircase and Bodhi's upstairs and like Poot's downstairs, and I think Poot's like thinking like maybe he'll change his mind at the last second, but Bodhi's like, you gotta step it up, right? and they go up there, and when they turn around, like Bodhi, tears are coming to Poot's eyes,
Yep.
And Bodhi also is sad, although he's not letting it on as much, but you could tell this is hard for him to do. And
it's harder for him to do than Poot. And this is why he keeps like trying to humiliate Wallace, is because he just can't pull the trigger.
Yeah. Poot has to push him.
Right. Yeah, it's true. He doesn't do it until Poot says, but that's also the turning point, because it's like Poot, after Bodhi shoots him, Poot grabs the gun and I think almost wants it for like closure in a way. He's like, I have to do it also at this point because but also a thing of like, I can't like be the one that cowers out. Like if we tell Stringer, I have to tell him I killed him too, so that he treats me with the same respect. But like, yeah, Wallace is begging here. Like,
man, this is like, that's the heartbreaking scene. Come on, man, we big crew, man. Come on, man.
You just think about these kids are like 16 years old. You know what I mean? They're thinking about like, this is our best friend that we grew up with. Like they're like, yeah.
Tough scene. And I got a question too about that scene. Where the fuck were the kids at?
I think Poot sent them away because of the hit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Poot,
makes the most sense.
Poot, I don't know where Poot sent them, but Poot obviously sent them somewhere.
Okay.
Because he made sure that it was empty.
That makes sense.
Yeah, man, that was hard. And then then Wallace starts peeing himself, and like, come on, be a man. You gotta, that toxic masculinity.
Well, even then, it's still just in his head. He just wants him to just like stand up straight. You know what I mean?
Well, that and like I said, I think he just can't pull the trigger, so he's trying to make up every excuse. Like, oh, stop crying, come on, stand up, be a man, dude, take this. And then Poot's like, well, if you're gonna do it, just do it, motherfucker.
Right.
I think if you want to look at it from like a psychoanalytic view too, it's like Bodhi's like, he hates that aspect of his own self, that like sensitive side. You know what I mean? He views as like a weakness, and he's like, no, I got to be all fucking. Can't have all these feelings or whatever. So he's just trying to get rid of that. And it's
saddest scene in Wire history, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's up there.
Acting too.
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
I made a TikTok of this video of this scene, and they got 12,000 views.
Damn. Yeah. Nah, that's lit.
When they first shoot him too, you could tell they're like, oh fuck, it kind of, the reality like takes a second to like catch on,
And I want to talk on this. When they start sending people back, and they send back Sandy has to go back to homicide, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he leaves the detail, it's like, okay, everybody is like, okay, all right, Sandy's gone. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and stuff. Now that Sandy is gone, when as a detail did they establish that he was, I guess, not to be trusted? I think
he's the mole, right? I think they think that he's Daniels thinks that he might be the mole. Well, I also just think at that point, like it's not like, I don't know necessarily if they don't trust him, although there could be a possibility. I think it's more also just like he's like dead weight. He's like the last of like the shitty cops that they don't need. Like it was Polk and Mahone.
Maybe.
I also didn't take it. I just more was like, oh, see you later,
Yeah, it's just when he left, Lester was like, all right, cool, he's gone now. Let's get into our plan now that Sandy is gone. Like we don't really ever see the detailed distrusting him for that moment. I just be trying to figure out where that moment came from, where they're like, okay, we don't trust him.
I have a question for you guys. I'll ask it live because we're recording live. How much of the show do we have left?
About 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. We good for time. We should be good for time.
I was gonna say if you wanted to do a part 1 or a part 2.
But we should be good for time.
If we had like half an hour left. Okay.
Yeah, we should be good for time. I'll call the timestamp out in a minute too.
Yeah. But also like with the police, they weren't able to get much information about Barksdale. Chardine's sad, she's like frightened because she realizes they overheard like some drug dealer talking to another stripper and saying like, I'll bring you back some uncut. They cut uncut frozen. I wonder what that was a euphemism for. One, I think, I don't know. coke or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, they basically realized like we're not getting shit from this except like they even say like table scraps, right?
Yeah. And they don't acknowledge too, like, because Avon pops his head out and it's like, man, y'all talk too much, man. Fuck, get y'all ass in here. They don't acknowledge the detail. Doesn't acknowledge, I guess, because he didn't say nothing, but they don't acknowledge that. Oh shit, we know Avon is there, or they don't. Maybe they don't know that's him speaking when he says that. But
yeah,
she's frightened.
Too much.
Yeah, she's completely frightened. She's like, oh shit, because she's been in the detail. I wonder if she knows, like, oh shit, that was Avon, And an hour and 30 minutes in, 90 minutes in, we just want to say, please like, share, subscribe, Wiretapped Truths. Please comment, show us some love. We appreciate it all. All right, Jack, keep us going.
So, going off the thread of Wallace, Bunk finds his dead body, right, and is like, oh shit, and then he calls them to let McNulty and Daniels know all about this. But meanwhile, they got Avon. They bugged, right, the upstairs apartment. Yep. They were able to drill a hole into that upstairs room. Is that the same upstairs room as the Orlando's, or is that a different place? I'm trying to think.
Yes,
same room. Okay, yeah.
But it's vacant. Bugging. That's why he said it's vacant. That's why they didn't need a warrant.
Right. They were able to bug it though, disguising themselves as people that are moving furniture or whatever. Yeah. And then
2:30 in the morning, they said that too. It's 2:30 in the morning. So McNulty and Daniels go over to Wallace's mom's house at 2:30 in the morning. Shit. They're it's early as fuck. And she lit at 2:30 in the morning.
All-nighters. Yeah, they're all over the place. I don't think they don't get any sleep on this. They're just constantly fucking. Yeah, so let's talk about the task. Avon sends D'Angelo out, right? And I think almost this was partially due as punishment. I have this theory that he did this of hey, I need you to pick up 3-up, making you go on this bullshit task.
I don't think it was because when the sister laid into him, he was like, all right, I fucked up. I think he just didn't have too many people he could trust at the moment. Okay.
But my thought about that is two parts. So one, who usually takes those runs to New York? It would have to be somebody you trust.
Wasn't it Stinkum?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know. That's what I'm asking.
It's probably somebody like Stinkum, one of the higher ups. Okay.
We don't have Stinkum right now.
Everyone's arrested.
I think it was Stinkum because Stinkum was the one who got pulled over last time. That he was like, "You think I'm dumb enough to run, a red light?" And he's like, "I don't
maybe."
know. So Stinkum seems to do a lot of the driving with the drugs,
the dirty work. Okay, that makes sense. And then my next question on that is, why would they send him up there so butt ass naked? One person, nobody trailing him, or why not have him stay longer than a night too? Why would those?
Avon's he wants a re-up. There's so many people. They
don't have shit. Yeah, you're right.
It's a very shallow pool right now. There's very few people he could trust. He's not. He didn't overthink this one.
Facts. Yeah,
well, also,
he usually does. It was definitely, I guess it's like Jack says, to humanize Avon, because remember when Stinkum got pulled over and he was trying to figure out, he was like, fuck, why they take the packages and not take Stinkum? He's a thinker too, so it was kind of all right, that was an impulsive move.
I love the fact that D'Angelo has to get ready for a pickup.
He takes 2 hours to do that.
I told y'all earlier in the season, that episode and that scene of him changing the clothes, trying to figure out what the fuck to wear. I skip it every time. I don't even watch it.
I have a friend like that. I think it's so funny.
He takes him a minute to get ready.
Yeah, we were at a battle event. We were staying at somebody's house, and he and it took him 6 hours to
Damn. What the fuck?
You were at a fight though, that you're getting dressed up. He needs to take 6 hours for
no rap battle.
Rap battle.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay, I thought. Yeah. Oh, rap battle. Even still, that's you don't really need to,
You're right. I mean, that's still, high intense type event where you don't need to take 6 hours to put your fucking socks on.
That's funny.
Yeah, this rapper QP, I'm gonna call you out. QP.
He was the one who took so long to get ready. Yeah. That's funny.
Where we at, Jack?
Yeah, I'd invite him on our podcast, but he'd keep us waiting for 6 hours.
Yeah.
A t-shirt. But so the cops pull him over, and they're like, "Hey, look, because Daniels and McNulty, they bug his car. They put on one of those like things that tracks it. I automatically thought of Breaking Bad when Hank does that to Walt's car.
Yeah.
He's like, "Did you leave this on my car?" That was my horrible Walter White impression. Anyway, D'Angelo's in jail. No, not in jail. Sorry, he gets arrested though, and he gets put in the interrogation room. McNulty and let's talk about when he gets arrested, though. He gives McNulty that look of like, you motherfucker. At this point, he just...
Hold up, Jack, because we forgot something very important. Bunk, we didn't touch on it. Somebody calls Daniels and let them know that they found Wallace in the vacant.
Right.
Yeah. So
this is I mentioned that earlier. D'Angelo knows like right away, okay, we've been bugged. And then they go there, and D'Angelo isn't playing any games anymore. He's
like, lawyer, motherfucker.
Fool me once, like, fuck you.
Right.
He says lawyer right away. And then they realize there's no way we're getting through to this kid. But they leave like a little... McNulty's great at doing this because he leaves like these little like truth bombs right before he leaves.
Little nugget here for you.
Oh, by the way, Wallace shot dead in a vacant.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, wow. D'Angelo thinks at that point
he's lying.
He has to believe that for his own sanity. He's like, oh, you're just still lying, motherfucker. And they give that look like, yeah, all right, whatever you think, bro. And they just both leave. And
McNulty also did D'Angelo's mom like that too in season 3.
Yeah.
When he's talking about it like, man, you kind of are a shitty mother,
right.
Like, you the one that made him take the years. Bye-bye.
Well, that's part of the genius of his character is he says what everyone's thinking, but nobody has like the balls to say.
Yeah, for sure.
He cuts through all the bullshit and all the nuance and the politeness and just says it as it is. Then so D'Angelo, right? He's getting arrested, but he's talking to Stringer and Levy in jail.
Yeah,
and before that happens, also, like Jesse said, Brianna's like pissed off at Avon, and Avon like basically says like, hey, he's got to go to jail unless you want to give up your house and all this nice stuff. And it shows there like she has this like materialistic view of everything, which comes into play later on. But D'Angelo is now realizing they weren't lying about Wallace being killed. And he's not even the scene's great because it just starts off a close-up of D'Angelo's face. And you can tell he's pissed. He's not even listening to what they're saying. And he just he's like, why are we here? He's like, I didn't fuck up. And Levy says like, we have a great chance of bringing you home. And then D'Angelo says like, and then what? And I think it's like, he means on a literal level, but he's also just like, I don't want to continue with this type of life that I'm living, and
this is his turn.
No, he's like, and then what? And then who takes the hit for all the weight in the car?
Right. He's talking crazy. Like, I
mean that on a literal level, but I think like on a subtext, he's also just like, fuck this, I'm done with this life.
Larry Gillard kind of shines in this scene too, right? He finally like gets to tell Stringer off and
fuck off.
Where's Wallace?
He said,
"Look
"Look
at
at
the
me,
boy, String. Where's
Look
Wallace,
at me."
String?" He does.
And Idris Elba in return, he's so cold and iced, like he's just like,
he's like, "Shut the fuck up,
shut your mouth,
shut your mouth."
And then he says, "I you stupid motherfucker." Like
I think Larry Gillard improvised a lot of this, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I heard that he kept doing the "Where's Wallace? Where's Wallace?" and they just kept running with it.
That's such a powerful. He is standing on business, like he is.
Yeah.
He's standing up for Wallace, man, and standing up to his uncle. Standing
Yeah,
up.
he's like, I don't want this payless wearing motherfucker.
Yeah,
he
like
screamed on Levy. This is just years of rage he's had raged up to. Yeah.
Well, Levy also subtly threatens him too. He's like, "Kid, you're making a big mistake here."
Well,
He's just
in all actuality, he is right.
Yeah.
This is not the time to actually like. Well, I mean, it depended, right? Because if he flipped, they were about to give him a new life. I think they were about to give him no jail time.
No, what did he asked for?
A new life, somewhere to start.
A new life, yeah. So I don't know if that necessarily that mean complete immunity, no time at all, or
I think it was leading there,
or just jail time away from everybody that knows him. Like I don't know.
I think it was complete immunity. I think it was
that he could have been dealt with. But I mean, like, he does have a possession charge, and they were about to lay it on here. But like, it doesn't mean that he would go to jail. It just means like the charge will be put on him, and then like Levy would work his lawyer magic to like get him home. I think that's what he's trying to say. He's like, look, we can just deal with this charge. Just jump.
No, I'm saying what the police was offering him. Weren't they offering him police a free immunity?
Oh, right. He said to them, if y'all give me this, I'll give y'all this. He was talking to them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's facing jail time, but then they realized like, hey, we could use him to flip on his uncle, and
I think D'Angelo has the best monologues in season 1. A lot of the acting comes from D'Angelo. If you break down the line for line, he might be one of the main stars of season 1.
For sure. No, he has some cold scenes. Like it's yeah.
When he died, it was real.
No, I just mean dialogue wise. I think he's a lot heavier because people people think of Wee-Bey and stuff, but Wee-Bey's not that dialogue heavy.
Right.
It's a great. The actor does a great job. It's a great character, but
it's a good point.
I think like dialogue wise, Larry
Gilbert probably had some of the coldest dialogue. Probably, yeah. Where we at, Jack?
What's the last few scenes? Yeah, at this point, their relationship is completely fractured, and I think it's like D'Angelo is like, I'd rather do jail and just get away from all you people,
everybody,
because you're all fucking horrible. You killed this child that I had like this relationship. He's like, I don't want anything to do with you. He even said, I got my own lawyer. He wants out of this family, essentially,
Right.
And like that was the path they were going to take on until like the next episode when they convinced him otherwise, right? But like, let's talk about this scene real quick between Daniels and Burrell, because
cold-blooded.
And Daniels is in trouble because he's looking at all these campaign finance reports for all these politicians, and he's basically like, you need to shut it down. Daniels is being defiant, though. He's standing up for himself. And then Burrell threatens him. He's like, he's like, you want us looking into you? He says, like, I can have you thrown in jail for everything that you've done.
Yep. I love it. It's the dirt from Daniels coming back, and it shows, well, damn, again, how much fucking money did Daniels take?
Right.
He says you came into a lot of money fast. Your ass can go to jail just as fast. So damn, I wish they could have showed more about that file, like, and what all was in that fucking file. Like, just the numbers of it. I'm so curious as to what just the magnitude of the dirt that Daniels was doing. Like,
enough to have him thrown in jail.
Right. For sure. I wish we just had a number, like, damn, $254,000 missing, or like I wish we had a number on it. Like, but yeah, he's holding a mirror up to Daniels, and it's like, look, this is the dirt that you've been doing.
Well, yeah, because Daniels is talking like very self-righteously about
like,
he's like, who the fuck are you to talk? Like, you've been involved in dirt, and then he thinks he has him like one up here. But then Daniels makes a great point. He's like, you don't want a bad headline, and he's like, there's chances you were involved with it too. And maybe people that you're friendly with, where he's like, if you're gonna throw me under, I'm gonna start talking myself.
Bring the house down.
And it's like, damn, he is fucking coming right back at you.
He's standing up on it. And it was the 5 too when they're promoting Daniels, and Burrell tells him, Would you tell me once if I was gonna do you, you'd already be done? You know, that's from this scene right here. You know, where he tells Burrell, well, hey, look, if you were gonna do me, I'd already be done.
Right. And he's finally standing up to it. That's like his arc. Because when we first see him as a character, he's very much like the career guy. You know, he doesn't give a shit about these cases. Burrell has him as like almost like his pet, right? But like throughout the episodes, he starts to see like all the bullshit that's pulled that's preventing him from doing real police work. And he finally turns around and stands up for himself in the end, you know, and it's kind of, it shows now there's the real clash between those two.
Yeah. What's our next scene?
But now to get to almost the last part, we have Avon's now in trouble because they have all those drug deals that they recorded, that him basically sending D'Angelo up to get drugs. Oh yeah, before we get that fake like salute, almost like a sarcastic salute that Daniels gives Burrell is great.
Yeah. So weak as fuck. It's weak as fuck.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck off. Yeah, so the SWAT team is handling Orlando's. Again, it's the war on drugs bullshit. They want to make a big macho scene out of this whole thing. And like McNulty even says, like, you think they'd have like Tony Montana up in there? Why do they have?
They haven't shot or touched a gun in years. Who y'all think is upstairs?
So they're just like, all right, fuck this. Let's go through with it. And cinematically, it's great because it's like we've been waiting all season for these people to do this. Yeah. And it's so perfect as McNulty and Daniels against Avon and Stringer, right? It's like the two, like the queen and the king of the chessboard finally meet, and it's
on both sides. That's a good metaphor for it. Yeah.
It's like it's like Batman and the Joker, whatever. They finally meet up. You know, they go and they arrest Avon. Stringer is prepared to get arrested.
I'll catch you later.
And and it made me think of like when Daniel says like to be continued. It's kind of like that's what they're implying. Like,
and too, just a fun fact: the guy that opened the door when McNulty and Daniels go through the door, that's also the same guy from season 3 at the end when they arrest Avon, and he's like, all of this shit is mine. All of it.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's the same guy. Yeah.
He's made it through, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Avon he gives that look to Stringer of like, well, why aren't you arrested? You know? And then
he's pissed, man. McNulty can't even, he like,
well, he's so like, yeah, because I mentioned that scene earlier. He's looking up the staircase, like he's looking down at Daniels at the bottom of the staircase, and he's like, "Are we really about to let this guy go?"
Leave Stringer here? Shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a big theme that like is that people don't get what they want. Really, it's like even Sidner says that he has that existential thing of like, damn, this is the best case, but it doesn't feel complete,
doesn't feel finished,
you know. And it's like, fuck, that's really how it doesn't let you have that like, we got him, guys. It's like, no, it's still just kind of
still a lot. It's still a lot of missing pieces out here, and at that point, they don't have Weebay. They don't know where he's at yet. You know, D'Angelo kind of tells them, you know, and
just the work always continues.
Yeah. And did we miss the part where D'Angelo is telling them about the murders, or is that the next episode?
No, that's the next episode.
That's the next episode? Okay.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so that's kind of one of the themes is just like people not getting what that feeling of satisfaction or closure that they really want, especially from the police angle, because they feel like, damn, it's like they feel frustrated, you know. And we'll get to that in later episodes because it's a recurrent theme. But yeah, so it ends with like Freeman and Prez-Belusky putting deceased on Wallace, and we see the that couch in the middle, and no one's sitting on it. We just hear the wind, and it's very haunting. And it's like it contrasts with the first episode when you see all of them and they're hanging out and they're having fun and laughing, and now it's blank.
You know, two things too as we finish. I forgot to mention Freeman he sees that newspaper that Prez is eating the chicken on, and he sees that these developers are going to be awarded $250 million. I forgot to mention that, but he puts that up on the board too.
Right.
We see that when Sidner and Prez are looking at the board. But that ending to the episode, Jack, with the couch and no people, it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to expect on the next episode? It's not really like a cliffhanger so much, like the way it ends.
It's
I
very
guess
bleak.
it's like,
Jeez.
well,
That's
shit,
sad.
is this it? Or we
Yeah.
don't know what to expect in the next episode.
It's almost just like this is what the game does to people, though, right? It just destroys their innocence, and now there's nothing left, And like I said, compare it to the first episode when they're all like friends and they're all hanging out, and now it's like completely empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now
Great
it
episode.
keeps
Great
moving
episode.
on.
Great episode. Thank you so much, Jack, for sure. I'll let Jesse give us his top actors from the episode, and then we will sign off. Definitely appreciate it. You all please like, share, subscribe, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the love. We've got some stuff coming to you all. We probably will release 2 episodes in the next 7 to 10 days, something like that. So we're going to try to get that season finale out to you all as soon as possible. So, all right, Jesse, what you got for us, my guy? What's up right now?
Write to us at wiretappedtruths@gmail.com. Any questions, inquiries? Want to know if you want to come on the show, if you have an idea to come on the show, and what would your idea be? And we'll take it into consideration and have you on. Right. We're thinking about doing Team Avon versus Team Marlo. So if you have a stance on that, wiretappedtruths@gmail.com or reach out to us on Twitter and stuff.
Not to cut you off, hold up, Jesse, not to cut you off too. When we wrap up season 1, this next episode, for all the fans, all the people that are watching, you all will see a lot more questions from us as we go into season 2, because we do want more people on. We want to hear your opinions on, The Wire. We want to have, like Jesse mentioned, like debate style segments and stuff like that. We want other people other than the 3 of us to give their opinions on the show on our platform. So in the Facebook groups, on Twitter, you all will see questions about potentially coming on, your opinions on stuff, and we'll definitely look to have people on and just give their opinion and show their love for the show as well.
For sure. Standout characters, I think easily for me. I mean, I've never been a big Daniels fan. That's funny that Jack said that, Emmy. But for me, the standout characters, his is probably Lance Reddick. Mine is Larry Gillard and Michael B. Jordan episode. Hands down. Michael B. Jordan, the scene was so heartbreaking. The Wallace stuff scene, and Larry Gillard really carried on a lot of season 1. If you really break down season 1,
it's about him.
Have a lot of acting, from the chess monologue to the these monologues that he has are so deep. In the next episode, he gets into the family of where I think a lot of acting stands out for Larry Gillard that I think gets overseen by people who are just too thug and stuff, but acting wise,
it's him.
I think
He's him.
D'Angelo Barksdale is one of the best here. So the stringer scene alone with the Where's Wallace and the Wallace getting killed scene, Michael B. Jordan and Larry Gillard, hands down, best.
Your standouts.
I think Poot and Bodie also crushed it. Especially Poot, that thing with in the end he's holding back tears.
Tough.
And Idris Elba, his sort of his villainous episode, very menacing. There are almost times throughout the show where you feel sympathetic, but this one is the episode where he hammers down. He's like, no, he's not a good guy. At the end of the day, he's not and he really has that intimidating presence and force, and especially carries that in this episode, I think. So
good stuff there. Good stuff. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. Jack, phenomenal job. We appreciate you breaking down the episodes for us.
And I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Jesse, appreciate you, my guy. Like I said, we will be reaching out to you all soon, all the fans, all of the people. We've got some great ideas to showcase this platform, the show. Like Julito mentioned a few weeks ago, just keeping the Wire alive, 23 years later. We've got some really cool ideas that we want to connect with people on. Some stuff we want to shoot, this 30-minute shorts, character breakdowns. We got a bunch of ideas that we're going to start rolling out once we wrap up season 1 and lead into season 2. So you all just be on the lookout. Please continue to show love. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, any questions you might have. Reach out to Jesse, reach out to Jack, reach out to myself, and we'll be glad to have you on. And this is Wiretapped Truths signing out, episode 12. We'll see you next time for the season finale.